Welcome, everybody, to ETV's coverage of the Minnesota State High School League playoffs, the Section 3-3A semifinal game between the boys Rosemount Irish and the Eagan Wildcats. It's boys high school soccer here on ETV. My name is Nathan Cron. I'm joined by Skip Newton and our award-winning ETV crew. And Skip, it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about the dog days of summer when it was hot, it was sticky, the season had so much promise. Every team was 0-0, just starting off, just kicking off. But now we find ourselves deep in the throes of the section playoffs, and two teams who are rivals, two teams that are going to play a close game, and two teams that don't like each other too much.
Boy, you nailed it right there with all those points, especially on the weather. Just Tuesday after our first section game, it was 30 degrees warmer, and this feels like a completely different environment, just as it was last week when Eagan beat Rosemount 2-0 in one of the final games of conference play, and really a game that Eagan controlled throughout most of the game. But I expect this to be a completely different contest. There's a lot more on the line, of course. You lose and your season's over. You win and you go on to the section finals and a chance to get to the state tournament.
The Wildcats, as you indicated, Skip, winners over the Irish last week by a score of 2-0 down in Rosemount. And like I said, the two teams that don't like each other too much. That game actually was marked by a lot of good sportsmanship. I actually was very impressed with the way that everybody was being very, what we would call, professional on the field, on the pitch. Everybody was helping each other up. Yeah, there were some hard fouls, but I didn't see any chippiness after the whistle. But that being said, both teams want to beat the other, and we are off here on ETV. Thanks to all of you joining us from Rosemount. Hope we can give you guys a good game here and a good broadcast. We'll do our best to get the Rosemount players as well, or lineups a little bit harder, as we don't see them quite as much as we do the Eagan players. Sondag, Joseph, Newton, and an early foul there against the Irish. Sondag, Joseph, Newton, and Redlin are your back line, with Prouty, Michael Johnson, Ryan Leonards in the middle, with Hackenmuller, Siet, and Kamara at the forward positions for the Wildcats. Wildcats, of course, moving left to right, wearing blue with white numbers. Davis Hackenmuller will stand over this free kick. Sent into the box. Nice defensive header there. It's played back in by Kamara. It's jumbled around. A shot in by Johnson, and it finds a head and goes out
taken, Michael Johnson,
for the first quarter
out of bounds
of the half.
Some early pressure there by the Wildcats, set up by the trip of Davis Hackenmuller. A great service, into the box as usual from Davis. He'll try again here, this time from the corner. Wildcats looking to capitalize early and take a lead as soon as they can, which bodes well for the rest of the play. They tend to play well when they have the lead.
Looking for Johnson, can't find it. Finds Siet on the back line. It's fired towards goal. Save.
Siet, number 10.
It's massive jumble of bodies before it's finally cleared, that time by the Rosemount Irish. Lewis got a hand to it. And now Rosemount looks to break. Fike's ball is blocked by Leonards.
But some great defense there by Leonards. That looked like a possible counterattack opportunity there for the Irish, and he just shut it down and kept it back in the Irish end. Well played.
Ryan Leonards returning to the Eagan lineup after a couple of weeks missing due to some injury challenges. The ball goes into touch, but it's unfortunate that the lineup has to necessarily be jumbled around, because the Wildcats did score a 5-0 decision against the Hastings Raiders on Tuesday night. So, clearly the lineup that Coach Bouteli had was working, but bringing in a senior captain with a good left foot is never a bad idea. As Redlin and Newton give this chase, Newton flicks it out towards Sondag. Watched by Fetka there. Now Fetka is going to have it again, turn to the middle. Sondag gave him the middle. Bit of an extended arm, and
offside,
Axel Martin knew he was offside, so he gave up on that one very, very early.
Now, you mentioned Jake Sondag back at his starting position on the outside defender here on the near side of the field. Did not start the previous game, as Tariq Salim got the start in that contest. So a couple of lineup changes here for Coach Bouteli, both with Leonards and Sondag.
Wildcats this season, for much of the season, had really a trend of if they score first, they win the game. If they score second, if they're not the first team to score, they lose the game. That was reversed. That trend was reversed in the last 2 weeks of the season. against Prior Lake, Lakeville North, a couple of good soccer teams. So Wildcats feeling good going into playoffs, that even if they go down an early goal, they can rally back. But as you said, Skip Newton, certainly the Wildcats would prefer to be on the top.
Yeah, I think gaining that confidence in those two come-from-behind victories was important for this team. They needed to prove to themselves that they can come back and win a game where they don't necessarily start out on top or they get off to a bad start. So clearly not the preferred method, but at least they're knowledgeable that there's plenty of time left and they can turn things around if necessary.
Shots early, 2-0, 2-0 to the Wildcats. Wildcats with some initial pressure. The Irish yet to get into the attacking third. Maybe they'll have a chance here as the ball goes into touch. Martin tries to make a play for it. It's watched there by Redlin. Now he dispossesses Joseph. Joseph's going to have to hurry. He's going to have to be some team defense there. Nicely done by Redlin and Alex Newton. They'll put that safely into touch, but Jack Joseph, one of the more sturdy defenders that the Wildcats have, not a guy who usually often gets beaten. Axel Martin did a nice job of getting by him.
Looked like Joseph might have gotten away with a little bit of a hold there as he was beaten, just to delay the forward enough to allow him to try and catch up. Good play if you can get away with it.
There's a play to the outside. Woodley, nicely done that time by Hackenmuller coming back. Woodley was out of the net and at the mercy of Fetka. And that header's going to go well wide. Not sure we can call that a shot on a shot or not, but I guess charitably we probably can. But Fetka definitely, number 12 for the Irish, definitely somebody worth keeping your eye on, as he created some challenges for the Wildcat defense just a week ago.
Some great recovery defense there by Hackenmuller, coming all the way back from being up high, typically where he's at, because he's always looking to score. But with that kind of hustle and that kind of play, that's the team team defense that the Wildcats need to use here to continue to hold opponents down. Could have been a goal-saving play there by Davis.
Hackenmuller's going to look for Seat, and that opportunity dried up very quickly. Team's trading the ball a little bit. Tries to be slid through there by Johnson. Can't quite find Kamara. Picked off by the interior defense by from the Irish. Irish definitely doing a good job of building from the back, trying to maintain good possession rather than simply booting the ball forward. There's a ball over the top looking for Kamara. Nicely done that time by Lewis coming off his line. Well done by Eli Lewis. The junior keeper in all pink, mostly pink with dark shorts. There is a wind here at Wildcat Stadium. That wind is coming from the near side where your cameras are to the far side. So we'll have to see if that wind plays in either corner kicks, throw-ins, or free kicks of different types. But kicking towards the cameras might be more difficult. We'll have to see. Elvin Kamara pressing on the outside and launched well high, looking for finding Newton's head. Wildcat defense not tested too much yet early on, as Joseph plays that off for the Irish. Here's Fetka trying to get in. It's going to be played out. I think that's going to go for a corner, and it is. So nice job by, I believe that was Sondag on this side.
Yeah, not a whole lot of options there for Sondag. One-on-one, he's running back more towards his goal. He needs to one-touch that ball out of there. Can't afford any sort of misplay or an opportunity for the defense, or the attacking Rosemount player to take it away from him. So he did all that he could and cleared that out. It's a good play.
Rosemount with two players near the stick, pulling a defender out, Hackenmuller, but falls for Sondag, who heads it over to Hackenmuller. Check it, that wasn't Sondag, that was Leonard's. My apology. At distance in the evening, even with the lights on, from time to time, some of these boys look a little bit alike, so forgiveness is appreciated.
Except for Prouty with the headband. We can always tell which one he is.
Yeah, I kind of like the headband. I have to admit, headband makes it easy. It's kind of like watching Cliff Robinson in the old NBA, where he always had the headband on. You always knew it was Cliff.
Solid reference there.
Leonard's dispossessed by Watt. Oh, nice tackle. Brilliant. Nice tackle there by Leonard's. Center referee Josh Hartwell agreeing, yep, that was a perfectly clean tackle, even though it was a bit rough on the end. We'll have to see how the ball is going to bounce tonight. It is a cold evening, low 40s as Kamara presses. Tries to take it away from Eklund, but Eklund beats that press. Now the ball's over the top. Looking for Joseph. I think Joseph's going to watch that head into touch. But it'll be interesting to see how the ball flies for both the goalies and for some of these players. The colder it gets, the more that ball can take some odd bounces. Here's Siet by one defender. Hackenmuller on the overlap. Oh, Hackenmuller stops. Now he turns on the Jets. Goes around Wenth. And it goes to Lewis. Check it to Wenthy. Apologies there.
Another example of a defender using his arms to slow down the attacking forward. In this case, it was Davis Hackenmuller, who looked like he was about ready to turn the corner, and Wenthy got his arm out there. Just enough to slow him down, but not enough to draw a foul call. So well done there, both by the Rosemount defender and Jack Joseph earlier on the Eagan side.
I get a sense that Joseph and Wenthy are watching each other insofar as the players are all watching center referee Josh Hartwell to see where he's going to draw the line in terms of contact, how much contact is going to be acceptable, how much is going to draw a foul. And at this time, it looks like referee Hartwell is probably going to give them some leverage and some discretion, given the quality of the teams and the level of play. Evan Woodley serving as the safety valve, finds Alex Newton, sends it forward. And after an initial flurry, the Wildcats have not had a lot of concentrated offensive pressure here in the last few minutes. There's a ball over the top for Wetzel. I think he's going to be offsides, and he is offside. Close call nonetheless, but Witzel did the right thing. Excuse me, Axel Martin. That was Axel Martin, not Witzel. Witzel plays for, I think, for the Belgian national team. I'm not sure why I came up with that name, but
I'm sure their playing styles are quite similar.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Well, I could think of things worse than being compared to Belgian national team players. This ball comes over the top, and Sondag and Newton are going to give chase. It falls oddly that time off of Woodley's clearance. And I'd like to see Woodley and his defenders be a little more on the same page there. That created some potential challenges.
Yeah, it looked like it was caught right in no man's land, where all three players were converging on it simultaneously. The defender, Newton, Woodley, and then the attacking forward for Rosemount. So nice job by the Wildcats to at least get it out of there.
See it with a bump.
Significant one.
Yes, Josh Hartwell, center referee, not having anything of that. Shoulder-to-shoulder challenge is certainly fine, but that almost did come from behind. Credit to see it to keep playing. He certainly wasn't looking for a call, nor did he look to go to ground. Intercepted by Sondag, nicely done. Hackenmuller's going to have immediate pressure. You think the announcers would get their act together, given that it's the section playoffs?
We're rusty after Tuesday.
Yes, apparently. Redland's going to come back for Woodley. Woodley's going to send that out.
Looked like Redland was waiting for Woodley to come out to play that, and when he didn't, just tapped it back to him. So a nice adjustment there.
And FICA is offside again.
Well, that is something that the Irish are going to have to adjust to. Wildcats are playing up, playing tight, trying to force the offside calls, putting them frequently in an offside position. So far, it's working great for the back line of the Wildcats. They need to time those runs just a little bit smarter, see if they can't drop one in behind and still stay onside.
Third offside call against the Rosemount Irish here early in the game. Kamara and Kamar and Joseph trying to work together there as Joseph has come up from his outside back position. Leonards will now press. And Lewis will send that over the top. Martin again. FICA battling there. Redlin nicely used his body, but his clearing attempt is intercepted. That ball comes up over the top. He's onside. Here's FICA with an opportunity, and he scores. It's 1-0 to Rosemount.
There was a gap in the defense, and the outside defender, Joseph, was far enough back where it kept the goal scorer, FICA, there onside. A nice passing play there by the Irish leads to the goal. Looks like Woodley got a piece of it, but couldn't get enough to keep it from going into the net.
Woodley unable to come off his line that time and close down. He, as you say, Skip Newton, he had a piece of it, got a piece of the angle, had a piece of it, but it just trickled in. And the defense, the Wildcat defense, as you say, was beaten. FICA was being kept on by a player on the far side. I think the players on the near side where FICA was thought that maybe he was in an offside position. That was not the case, as Leonards is going to be withdrawn, and we will see Emilio Villasenor for the first time tonight. Also going to see Peyton Jensen joining the center defense.
Number 18, and Emilio Villasenor, number 11, going off Ryan Leonards, number 9, Alex Newton, number 15. Scoring for the Rosemount Irish, number 12, Augustine Feka. The assist to number 20,
Feka,
Ethan Brown.
with Brown on the assist in the 14th minute.
The time of the goal is 13 minutes, 46
So the Wildcats have a bit of a hill to climb now, Alex, or
Alex
Skip Newton, I should say.
The assist, Ethan Brown. The time,
Earlier substitutions than what we typically see from Coach Boutelet look to be in response immediately to the goal being scored.
At least one of those, to my eye, I think one of those substitutes was already at the front, already at the table. I'm not sure if the second substitution was related to that or not. I couldn't tell you, but I think one of the substitutions was already at the table when the goal was scored. The next one might have arrived after the goal. Hard to say. We're getting an Eastview Jefferson update. Eastview Lightning, I believe they said Skip Newton 2-0 over Jefferson at half.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard as well.
The ball being chipped over the top by Hackenmuller. See, it had been dumped to the ground.
Egan's going to have to change their approach here on the attack. The through balls up the middle aren't going to work. Eli Lewis, the goalkeeper, for the Irish, is very aggressive coming off his line to the point where anything that's inside the 18 has pretty much been his. So he needs to, we need to figure out another way to make him pay for that decision. And perhaps with some shots from farther out, we'll keep him on that back line a little more.
Jensen nicely done, takes it away. Joseph sends it forward. Nice combination play there with Johnson. Multiple Wildcats are now going to be flying at the Irish midfield. Hackenmuller's going to lose that one to the outside, and this ball's going to go long. Here's Martin again. It's cleaned up that time by Redlin. Prouty lays that off for Sondag. And that ball will go into touch off of the Irish. Irish smartly on their last throw in using the ability of a player to be in an offside position to receive the ball from a throw-in, really stretching the defense for the Wildcats. I don't always see that from the Wildcats. This ball comes back in for Sondag. Sondag tried to play with his head but couldn't quite steer it towards Woodley and is going to send that into touch. Thanks for joining us. If you're from Rosemount or from around the country, we've got people we know listening and watching in Arizona and Florida and all over the upper Midwest. Of course, we've got a number of alumni probably from both schools paying attention to this one. Remember, the Rosemount Irish 2 years ago knocked the Wildcats out of the playoffs in the section semifinals in a marathon game that went to the kicks from the mark before the Irish prevailed. That ball comes in and finds Joseph. Joseph's going to hoof that forward. And, of course, last year the Irish defeated the Eastview Lightning in the section finals to go to the state tournament. Of course, they made it to the state semifinals. So, regardless of where and of course, last year's Irish team was, from a record standpoint, I'll just say from a record standpoint, not, they weren't unbeaten for the season, but gives you a sense, Skip Newton, of how much quality play there here is in the South Suburban Conference. Now, Michael Johnson absolutely tomahawked there by one of the Irish. I'm not sure what center. I have to say, I'm surprised the center referee didn't blow a whistle. He must not have seen it because it was very clear. Johnson took a boot in the chest.
Yeah, that thing was up near his head.
Villasenor, nicely done. First time we've called his name after coming on. He's going to lay that off for Hackenmuller, but he's going to go just a little too far. Emilio Villasenor is playing some of the best soccer of his career. There's an opportunity for Johnson. Johnson takes too long with too many touches. Finds Hackenmuller. Siet tries to hammer that on goal. It's beautifully blocked that time by the Irish. Johnson dribbling into traffic, into trouble. His teammates probably need to give him some help there. Hackenmuller dispossessed by Wenthe on the far side. See it pressuring Lewis. Lewis hoofs it out for Fika. Johnson's pass again intercepted. This just needs to be better. It's more quality on that pass to get to a teammate.
Feels like we're seeing a few of those just in this last little series where the passes are just a little bit off, not quite to feet or not to open space where a Wildcat has a better advantage of running onto it. So I think if the midfielders can clean that up just a little bit, get in sync with their forwards, it'll generate some more scoring opportunities here for the Wildcats, and they definitely need one now. I know there's plenty of time with over 60 minutes of regulation left, but you don't want this thing to go too long without scoring a goal.
Ball over the top for Sondag. He hoofs it back up the touchline. Nicely done that time by Sondag. You see the Rosemount strategy. They seem to be playing back to their defenders, opening up the field, drawing the defense for the Wildcats towards the midline, and then popping a ball over. Fika there is clearly offside. Not sure why he's a little curious. He had the best view of anyone other than the assistant referee. I'm a little curious as to why he thought he was offside, although in fairness, he may be a bit disgruntled with his teammates for not giving him the ball faster.
Yeah, he was stationary like you said, he was lined up, near the touchline, so he's got a great view of all the defenders. Really need to be, more aware of not only where the ball is and where your teammates are, but where the opponent is as well, and adjust.
Another substitution. We're going to have Hannon Axelrod check in for Melvin Kamara. Kamara with a brace against Lakeville South last Saturday gave the Wildcats the South Suburban Conference title. You notice what the Irish are doing here. Watch how they play it back. They draw the defense forward, and now they play over the top. Now Hackenmuller's going to have an opportunity to flick it towards Villasenor. Villasenor finds Prouty. Prouty on the deck. No foul there. That's Nicholson. Tries to get it to Fika. Jensen's going to left foot that one towards the midline. Finds Siet. It's always a good thing to do. Villasenor's going to look for Axelrod. Axelrod's got some opportunity. He's on the far side. He tries to slide it in towards Siet. Siet's going to turn. He's going to get a foot to it, and he finds the back of the net, and it's 1-1. Oh, what a brilliant turn by Derek Siet. That's what you want from the senior captain. Hannon Axelrod made a great run. He served it in, and Derek Siet dined sumptuously.
What a play there, and it's really a great play by both of them. Axelrod was able to get that pass off at the last possible second as the defense was bearing down on him, And like you said, Siet did a magnificent job of shielding off the defender and opening up the middle of the field. And once he was able to do that, then it was just a one-touch and whether or not he could get it into the open net. And he did exactly that, putting it into the corner. A huge response here by the Wildcats.
Lewis was not off his line. You know, he was a bit stationary. I'm not certainly blaming the young man at all. I mean, but, you know, we've talked, Skip, you noted earlier that Lewis had been off his line very quickly. You wonder if maybe if Lewis had come off his line as quickly as he had earlier, maybe he takes away the angle, maybe not. Hard to say, but Siet beat him far corner, and the keeper can only cover so much.
Yeah, my guess is he was concerned that Axelrod might have been in a position to not, you know, instead of passing the ball, to shoot it. And so he needed to stay back and defend a potential Axelrod shot. And then by the time he passed it over, it was so close to see it that, you know, he couldn't risk coming out and challenging that, you know, maybe hoping his defense would make the play for him. But regardless, it works out in the Wildcats' favor. Again, a really big response there, and it gets them some momentum here going into the latter part of the first half.
While we were commenting, there was the fifth offside call by my count against the Irish. Probably 3 out of the 5 have been FICA on the far side. A little curious as to, obviously you want your forwards pressing that offside line, but 5 offsides in one half, it's a bit much. Axelrod battling on the far side, but does lose possession. FICA there trying to beat Hackenmuller. Hackenmuller dumped to the turf. And Nicholson chips that over the top, looking for Brown. Axelrod loses that into touch. Redland shoots that over the top. That's going to go past everyone. Well, in case you're just joining us, whether you're from Rosemount, Eagan, or some parts unknown, you've got a lot of activity here. As Derek Siet now has the ball for the Wildcats, he's going to be dispossessed by a whole host of angry Irish. Oh, step by Sondag, very well done. Hackenmuller needs to find a teammate, can't. The ball gets hoofed all the way to the far side. Finds Johnson. Now Joseph on a wander. Finds Hannon Axelrod, who looks for Xavier Senior in the middle. It's not quite the continuity, despite the goal being scored, Skip Newton, not quite the continuity that the Wildcats have been demonstrated over the last handful of games. They have a 7-game unbeaten streak with 6 wins and a draw. So the Wildcats have been playing their best soccer of the season here at this critical time.
Yeah, they really need to keep the momentum going. Obviously, I mean, now you're at a point where, you know, just one letdown, one bad game, and the season ends. Kind of relieved that they were able to get that tying goal in the first half. I think that's a big goal here, maybe an opportunity as Siet brings it forward.
Derek Siet, he's got a gentle move there. Nice tackle there. Nope, nothing there. Falls for Villasenor. Derek Siet unhappy with himself. He's not unhappy with the center referee. That was a clean tackle. Player's down in front of him, takes the ball. Siet falls on top of him. No, nothing there for me. The challenge is that it's in games like this, every time someone falls down, it's not going to be a foul, even if it does look kind of rough. Watch the Irish now as they draw the Wildcats ever deeper. And now as soon as they've decided they've drawn them deep enough, now they're going to bring it up and watch this. Here it comes. Well, maybe with a little more green grass, they're going to go, and here it comes. Over the top, and now we've got another offside call. That's the 6th offside call of the half. Brown's been tagged. FICA's been tagged. It's, Martin's been hit. So, I mean, obviously it's a very obvious, it's obvious what's going on, that Rosemount's trying to press the back line, but they've got to time that better, Skip Newton.
Yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion what the halftime speech is going to be from head coach Todd Farrington to the Rosemount Irish. It might be on the topic of paying attention to where you are on the field and where the defenders are. Oh, there's a nice mistake.
Oh, Derek Siet was absolutely climbed on. He's having a talk with center referee Josh Hartwell, and I think he's got a case. When hands are on each shoulder and the player comes up over your head, I think that should be a pretty good indication that there might be somebody might be climbing on your back. But in any event, the Wild goes out off of Lewis.
And there's a little miscommunication. There's a defender was trying to head it back to Lewis, but Lewis had come off his line aggressively like we've seen so many times earlier in this game, and he ended up heading it right by him and out of play. So opportunity here for the Wildcats on the corner.
Right foot in swinger from Davis Hackenmuller. The ball lands near the penalty area. It gets up. That's Daniel Redlin. I believe it was Daniel Redlin who got up for that one. It was Redlin. And that was a clean header, Skip Newton. If he had steered that on goal, I'm not sure Martin was going to have or Lewis was going to have a chance for that one.
No, really, the goalkeeper had two hopes there, is that the header went straight at the goalkeeper or that it went wide like that one, because he was stuck, just basically at the whim of the Wildcats and Redlin. An outstanding service ball again by Hackenmuller, a great header by Redlin. Unfortunately, just about maybe a yard to the outside, if that.
It's a ball from Axelrod, from Villasenor to Axelrod, down the side. Axelrod dispossessed. Mikolo Jones, who's checked in for the Wildcats. He comes up, he took over for Prouty. See it again, harassing the back line. Almost dispossessing Martin there. Now it falls for Villasenor. Villasenor, he's going to get pushed. Gentle push in the back there. Little contact, probably much more contact, would probably draw a whistle, you imagine. Villasenor again. Watched there by Yawson. Villasenor finding out that matter cannot go through other matter. And the ball comes back for Sondag, who wisely, I think, plays it across from Jensen. Jensen finds and switches the field to Joseph.
This possession has been entirely set up by the pressure by the forwards on the Rosemount back line. I think that's something that Eagan needs to adjust to as this game goes on, and not let the back line of the Irish get comfortable, just playing the ball back to Lewis at goalkeeper, passing it around, setting up their attack. Let's put some pressure on and see if we can't, steal possession, and that's exactly what they did. It almost resulted in a good goal-scoring opportunity. Villasenor
finds Hackenmuller. Hackenmuller's going to have some company very quickly, but serves it forward for Siet. Tries the back heel flick. Doesn't quite come off. He's a bit disappointed in his own efforts.
It's really quite remarkable that he's good enough at that and used to doing it, that he was disappointed that he wasn't able to make the play. That is not an easy play to make, and he definitely was upset with himself there.
Ball gets played into touch that time off of Martin. We've not seen, I don't believe, if my count is correct, I've only seen one foul so far on the Irish for the match. Yeah, we've seen, Skip Newton, we've seen people climbing on each other. We have seen some hard tackles. We have seen some grabbing and some pushing and shoving with extended arms. I'm a little surprised that there hasn't been, for instance, there on Siet, you could have blown a whistle there. Hannon Axelrod goes in towards Norton. He was in an offside position. So I think the referee's just going to let Martin play this and ignore the assistant referee, Kip Kylan, on the near side.
In the defense of the Irish player, if I'm going up for a ball above my head and my opponent is Derek Siet, I'm probably going to use every advantage I can, and that includes both of my hands on his shoulders, pushing both me up and him down.
Well, absolutely, as Axelrod tries to go through a couple of defenders. But I'll be interested to see how the center referee manages this game as it gets more tense.
Yeah, that is the big concern, right? That the more a game goes without calling fouls, the greater the chance that the fouls are going to increase in intensity, and players start to take matters into their own hands.
Hackenmuller with a steal, nicely done. Puts the right foot to it. Oh, sends it high off the uprights. Nicely done by Davis Hackenmuller, reminding the Rosemount Irish that he is a very dangerous ball striker from a distance. That was an absolute rocket, and it only took him maybe, Skip, 2 steps to get in position to hit that lightning shot?
Yeah, he took one touch to the outside and let her fly. I like the decision there by Hackenmuller. It's about time that the Wildcats put a shot out, on from distance. See if they can't sneak one past the goalkeeper.
See it dispossessed there, and Wildcats with just under 8 minutes now to go in the half. 1-1. Fike in the 14th minute from Brown. And see it from Axelrod in the 23rd minute. This ball comes back to Evan Woodley. Hackenmuller flicks it on for Villasenor, who finds See it. Oh, unlucky there. So unlucky. 2 brilliant backflip back headers. And then See it trying to find Hackenmuller on the run. Just put too much on it. Peyton Jensen with some heavy contact there on Martin. Again, no call. Rosemount Irish finding themselves in possession in the attacking third. Kind of an unusual position as Woodley's going to be tested here. The ball's going to land close to him. A bit of hesitation for Evan Woodley there, Skip Newton. I wonder if there was not enough communication between him and his central defenders.
Yeah, it looked like he had a tough time judging where that ball was going to come down and decided not to risk coming out too hard and catching on the fly. Played it well off the hop, though. That was a quick hop up off the turf. Any sort of misplay there, and there was a Irish forward ready to pounce all over it. So well done by Woodley adjusting to that rather difficult service in.
Some brilliant play on the far side by the Irish. When the Wildcats finally get a foot to it and clear it over, Mikolo Jones dispossessed. Now he makes up for it by getting it back and then turns it right back over to the Irish. Johnson can't quite get to it. Now Joseph puts it into touch, settling matters for the moment. Battle in 3-3A between the Irish as that ball gets away from everybody. Battle in 3-3A. The Irish are the 3 seed. The Wildcats are the 2 seed. Nice block there by Hackenmuller. Falls for See it. He's got an opportunity. He's going to look for Hackenmuller on the far side. See what Davis Hackenmuller can do with it. It's too much bouncing on the turf. That was rather strange.
It looked like the ball was really spinning on there. It was tough for Davis to get a good touch to settle it down so he could get a shot off.
Wildcats being a bit sloppy with their possession in the midfield. There's too many balls finding Irish boots. Johnson tries to slide that through. Can't find his teammate, but Johnson now recovers. Wrong-footed Axelrod, and now the Irish will bring it up. Oh, nice interception there by Johnson. Tries to slide it for Axelrod. He does. Nicely done. Comes back for See it. Oh, it's going to go off the Irish, I think. Yes, we will have our third corner of the first half here for the Wildcats. Wildcats have been dangerous, Skip, on both of the earlier set pieces. See if they can replicate what they did earlier on this one.
There was one earlier, I think the first one, where it just seemed like the ball was just hanging around inside the 6, waiting for someone to strike it. Unfortunately, Rosemount got to it first, and the last one, of course, Redland headed just wide.
Hackenmuller again over it. This is going to find almost the far post. It falls towards the middle. It's played up in the air. Johnson can't quite come down with it. Villasenor unpossessed. Everybody getting excited watching Yasin go between someone's legs but then turning the ball over immediately, so something of a Pyrrhic victory. The game between these two teams last week had its share of fouls, had its share of big fouls as Peyton Jensen fires that well into touch. I'm not sure what Jensen was quite going for there.
He had the right decision there on the attempt to pass it over to his teammate. He just put way too much on it.
Sondag's going to hoof that forward, looking for See it, but See it had been Wasn't quite feeling the run there. It's corralled by Lewis, who starts play again. Again, the Irish building from the back, trying to draw the boys in blue to the front. Here's Villasenor. He's going to get on it. He's going to be dispossessed. Now Hackenmüller's going to have a chance at it. Plays it back for Sondag. Oh, nicely done by Jake Sondag. Well done. Hackenmüller fires it right at an Irish chest, literally at the Irish on his chest. A little bit of standing around for the Wildcats, not quite giving their teammates a lot of options. Well, that time Sondag dispossesses him. Jensen puts it well into touch. Rosemount back in the attacking third. Again, Skip Newton not too many times down here in the attacking third, and certainly none with sustained, what I would call sustained pressure.
No, really no sustained pressure for either team. A lot of this game being played, between the 20s, as they say in the football space. Would like to see, better possession, better passing here for the Wildcats so they can set something up. I mean, there's another example right there. The pass goes straight to the foot of an Irish defender.
I think both coaches probably happy to get to halftime with a 1-1 draw at this point. Both teams probably have some things they can work on and clean up here for the beginning of the second half. As see it was around 2 defenders. Now he's going to take a shot from distance. I think that would be called for Derek aspirational.
Yeah, about 40 yards out, and he still put it not over just the soccer goal, but the net behind the goal. Definitely got all of that one. And that's a ball I would have loved to seen the Wildcats win and push it down back into the attacking third there.
The ball comes up over the top, and that's going to find touch. Just over a minute now to go here in the first half. Sondag's going to put it in play. Been a lot of pushing and shoving down there. You imagine at some point there is going to be a couple of calls, and we're going to have probably some shouts from the crowd that they're not overly happy with it. There, I think, yep, and there's one. As Villasenor draws the foul. Not much time left, so the Wildcats are going to take this as quickly as they can. Yawson's going to delay in front of the ball as much as he can. Hackenmüller's going to send that towards goal. Looking for Miklo Jones. A couple of headers away. Now 23 seconds left. Sondag's going to fire that in. Finds Johnson. Johnson's going the wrong way. Hackenmüller's going to send that in. Looks for Siet. Nice defensive header that time by the Irish.
9, 8,
Redland dispossessed. I don't think he's going to get it back.
5, 4, 3,
An opportunity here for the Wildcats is not realized, and we hit halftime. So an early goal for the Irish canceled out by Derek Siet's 23rd minute strike from Hennon Axelrod. We find ourselves tied at half, 1-1, Irish and Wildcats here in the section semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, step away for about 10 minutes, and we will be back with second half action here on ETV.
Two goals scored in the first half, one for each team, scoring for the Rosemount Irish in the 14th minute, number 12, Augustine Feka. The assist to number 20, Ethan Brown, the time was 13:46. Scoring for the Eagan Wildcats in the 23rd minute, number 10, Derek Siet. The assist to number 5, Hennon Axelrod, the time was 22:01.
Welcome back for the second half with the Class 3-3A section semifinal between the Rosemount Irish and your Eagan Wildcats. It's a 1-1 score right now. The Rosemount Irish striking first in the 14th minute through FICA, excuse me, we're still working on that pronouncement a bit, through FICA, and then the Wildcats responding and answering in the 23rd minute from Derek Seat, their team's leading scorer and point getter. So the Wildcats and the Irish are going to lock horns here for another 40 minutes. It's not South Suburban Conference game, but it might as well be. The way it's turning out, there is a lot of physical play, and if you're looking for some real excitement, you've come to the right place. Don't turn the dial after this game is over. The Eagan High School girls team will be taking on Bloomington Jefferson on this pitch about 7 o'clock or so. So stick around with Skip Newton, myself, Nathan Cron, and our award-winning ETV crew as we will be bringing you the sights and sounds of that matchup as well. So during the halftime, we did some digging, and as it turns out, Alex Newton was withdrawn by Coach Boutalieb due to injury. Apparently, he had something going on just before that goal was scored. So that helps us understand exactly how that sequence landed. In any event, we're going to see him back on the field. Yep, there he is back on the pitch next to Daniel Redlin, reclaiming the center back spot. So we're going to have a starting lineup of Lennertz, Seat, and Hackenmuller with Villasenor, Prouty, Johnson in the midfield. Joseph and Sondag outside with, as I said, Redlin and Newton back at the center backs, and of course Evan Woodley in goal for the Wildcats. Derek Seat gets us started, finds Daniel Redlin, and here we go.
Some nice play in the first half there by a few key players off the bench for the Wildcats. You know, Peyton Jensen has been injured for so much of the season, you forget that he started at the beginning of the year, and it's nice to be able to bring a guy like him off the bench when needed, and he filled in quite admirably for Alex while he was nursing that injury. Get Ryan Lennertz back, that's a big boost as well. And then, of course, Hannon Axelrod with the wonderful assist on the Seat goal.
Wildcats going right to left on your screen. The wind is, again, still blowing away from the camera. So balls being played to the near side or using the near side wind might be a little bit tricky. Is nicely done that time by Lennertz. He spins and turns, but couldn't quite find another set of blue boots. Nice step up there by Emilio Villasenor. Ryan Lennertz has spent enough time on the bench. Boy, he really wants to get involved, and he does here. He dispossesses the Irish. Now tries to go around the defender who absolutely tomahawks Jack Joseph. I realize that it's two players coming together, but when the arms are extended like that, it certainly doesn't look innocuous. A little confused as to where that was coming from, but Sondag's going to put that into touch.
We talked about this both during the first half and at halftime, and the danger with a game like this where calls aren't being made, a lot of stuff is being let go, is you're going to see that the physicality is going to continue to increase, and players just start, taking advantage of it on the one hand, but on the other, they know not only do they know they can get away with it, but they get frustrated. And in this instance, Jack Joseph was the recipient of the hard foul with the push. But next time, because of that, he might be the guy that chooses to dish it out. I mean, it just starts to build upon itself if the center ref does not get control of this game.
Well, I understand. I mean, the ball's away and two players are coming together, and I understand two players coming together and colliding. What I don't understand is when one of those players uses his arms, extends his arms, pushes the other player away, and actually just pushes him two-hand shove to the ground. That, to me, says, no, that's a foul. I mean, and I'm certainly a little, I don't quite understand that as the ball's put back into play. Almost nicely cleared that time by Redlin as it's almost put towards goal by the Irish.
Yeah, that wasn't a good physical play. That was a pancake block. I mean, that needed to get called.
Well, and of course the challenge would be where did that take place? It was inside the penalty area, or maybe right on the edge of the penalty area. So we have another offside call here against the Irish.
Yeah, he landed inside the 18, but that doesn't mean that's where he necessarily made contact.
We'd have to go back and look at the replay. You're right, Skip, as to where that would have landed. But in any event, I think both players from both teams are going to start to become a bit frustrated here if they can't get a better understanding of where those lines are. I mean, the fact the whistle's only been blown, by my count, twice in the whole game for a foul is now we've got a corner here for the Irish. It's going to be their first of the second half, their second of the game. The Wildcats are going to be called to the defensive pump.
First of the second half.
Important for the Wildcats here to win this ball in the air, get it out of harm's way right away, assuming that it's played in deep in front of the goal.
Connor Watt standing over it. Looks like he's going to put a right foot to it. And he does. It's lashed in. It finds Newton. Newton puts it behind for another corner.
Obviously not the ideal play there by Newton, but the biggest mistake is letting it go by you, so at least he got it out initially.
Now it's played short and served in. Nicely done that time by the Wildcats. Blocked there by Leonards. That's the second time he's blocked a ball. As Joseph plays that off of an Irish forward. Check it, that was Wenthy from his defensive position who had been up for the corner. Villasenor does a nice job of sending it on, but can't quite get much more on it. Redlin there being watched by Wetzel, by Axel Martin. Ball comes in for and finds Newton. Lays it off then for Redlin.
Nice job covering for Redlin there, who had made a nice play here by the near touchline to try and get that ball back up the field, but not letting it go into touch.
Prouty lays that off nicely for Villasenor. Villasenor tries to get over to Johnson. Check it, that was Leonards. A battle there between Raimondo and Joseph. Second half, boys section semifinals for Class 3-3A. Wildcats in blue, Irish in white. We think this will be probably our last broadcast here on ETV for the Wildcats, as the section finals, we're not exactly sure where that's going to be located. If it happened to be here at Wildcat Stadium again, and they're usually done at neutral sites, so even if Wildcats are the top seed, no guarantee it'll be played here, as Derek Seatt's going to give that a chase, and Martin's going to come out and send that well down the field, leaving no doubt virtually all of his players were in offside position, and Newton misplays that one a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely mishit that. I don't think he realized he had more space. You know, I don't know if someone was communicating it, but he could have taken a little bit more time with that. Fortunately, it just goes into touch. While we're talking about Alex Newton, I do have to do a shout out. He's got quite a bit of family watching. Sister and Eagan alumni Laura at the University of Minnesota watching. Then the Hires down in Texas enjoying the game as always. Thank you, Eagan TV.
Ball's going to go out for yet another corner. So it'll be the third corner of the second half here for the Irish. It's been some consistent offensive pressure for the Irish, as they've not done a lot through open play other than kicking it forward. But here playing the corner game is certainly helping them out. There's a ball in the back post. Nicely done. Woodley claims it. Jack Joseph very upset. Center ref very upset that he was climbed on top of. Center referees telling him, no, I didn't see it, or it didn't happen the way you said it did. Joseph, I'll have to watch him, as he's got quite a short fuse. Or at least I shouldn't say short fuse, I should say he's not afraid to retaliate physically. Wouldn't surprise me if Jack Joseph lays the thunder on somebody here very shortly. Early substitution here for the Irish.
Substitution for the Irish into the game is number 24, Logan Anderson. Going off, number 21, Axel Martin.
If the Wildcats were looking to come out in the first half with a lot of momentum right now, that hasn't quite appeared. Villasenor's ball goes away from Seat. Ball gets laid off for Joseph, who fires it back into the middle. Now chips it forward for Leonards. Leonards nicely done. Leonards' pass intercepted. Joseph steps to it, says, I'll take that, thank you very much. It's going to go out of play into touch. Unfortunate that time. But the Wildcats looking a little bit disjointed here in the early going.
Another example of a touch just kind of failing the Wildcats. We've seen a lot of that in this game. Very uncharacteristic of the team. I don't know if that's due to the colder weather or what exactly the cause is, but it's not impacting just one or two players. It seems to be almost universal.
Prouty dispossesses the Irish. Irish might have had a foul call shout there. Looked like some contact from behind as this finds Sondag. Finds Villasenor, who's dispossessed. Surprised there's not more talking as this ball gets hoisted in for Leonards. Leonards gets ahead to it, throws it on goal. Nicely done by Ryan Leonards. As he had to deal with two defenders and Derek Siet in his lap as he steers that on net. And to finish the point, Skip Newton, I think these players need to talk a little bit more to each other. We've seen players rush with the ball when they didn't have to, and we've seen some players think they have more time when they don't.
Eagan just can't quite connect there down in the attacking third. They'll work it down there, and then we see it go back to the goalkeeper, Lewis, quite frequently. Of course, we already talked about just how aggressive he is off the line. We need to see Eagan counter that with a different approach and a different style. One thing that that led to the goal is they got it down deeper into the corner before they chose to cross it in. We've seen a lot of trying to go over the top, and that hasn't been successful. Maybe that's the adjustment they need to make.
It's a hard tackle there on Prouty. Prouty spun around in the air. It was rather acrobatic. It was a hard tackle, but Prouty's aerial movement certainly was a key indicator of some substantial contact. Michael Johnson's going to send this down probably into the penalty area for the Wildcats. Comes down. Martin comes out with two fists and punches it away. And now a foul will finally be called against the Wildcats on Martin, fouling Martin. I'm not sure I quite understand that one, only because Martin comes out flying over multiple players, punching it out. He's going to go to the ground. I mean, he's going to fall down. I didn't see a foul there, but certainly we want to protect the keeper, so it makes sense that the center referee would blow a whistle, but still I'm a little haven't quite figured out exactly where that line is in this game.
Yeah, I got caught watching the ball after the punch-out, was looking to see if there was a Wildcat player in the vicinity to maybe take that shot. I didn't know if there was maybe contact after Lewis was able to punch it.
Redland plays that to safety. I had the binoculars on Lewis, and he punched it away very authoritatively. And there were multiple players in the area, but of course when he loses his balance and goes in the air to punch the ball away, he's going to go to ground. And I didn't see a foul. I saw contact, but no foul. In any event, Wildcats concede a deep throw here for the Irish. Irish going to hoof this in well into the penalty area. Finds Prouty's head. It's sprayed out, I think, that time by Newton. Irish are going to play this back a little bit. See it watching it there. Villasenor's tackle partially successful. Took the ball but couldn't quite finish taking the ball. Wildcats right now sitting on their season 11-5-1, Irish 8-5-2. So both teams enjoying successful seasons in the South Suburban Conference and winning their quarterfinal games. The Irish, of course, won 2-1 over Park. And the Wildcats put Hastings to the sword by a score of 5-0. This ball finds Jack Joseph's boot, who sprays that down deep into the corner.
Nice play there by Joseph. Didn't want to take any chances, didn't want to leave any doubt, just clear it out and reset your defense.
Another deep throw here for Wenthy. He's going to fire that towards goal. Looking for a Irish head.
Goal kick, Wildcats.
Can't quite find what he was looking for.
Yeah, Irish needed to flick that one back perfectly, and fortunately got just a little too much underneath it and ended up popping it up and over the goal, well wide of the goal, not even close to being on target. I'm sure that's not what the intent was. Not the easiest play, especially with somebody right on your back like Joseph was.
Woodley's goal kick does a nice job finding Johnson. It ping-pongs around in the midfield a little bit there. Opportunity for the Wildcats if they, not sure why Hackenmüller's going to draw the foul there. Very confused there. Davis Hackenmüller with an excellent play, but it seemed, at least to my eyes, a bit unnecessary. I don't know why he was turning to go into the middle when he thought it looked like he had plenty of space to the outside, but in any event, he draws the foul. Johnson will stand over it, send it down towards the penalty area. This is flat, but it flicks up and over a couple of players. I think the Irish are going to send that, hoof it forward. Nicely done. Newton smartly back. He sends that back into the Irish end and takes a beating for his trouble. As Villasenor goes around one defender, two defenders. It's dispossessed by the third.
Really hard to dribble around that many people at this level. They're too fast, not enough space. You beat a couple, you need to be getting rid of the ball.
We've got some bodies flying all over the field. Lennertz and Joseph miscommunicate there. The ball falls for FICA. Now the Irish trying to get it to the far side. You can hear their fans upset that they're trying to pass to the other side instead of shooting the ball.
Yeah, it looked like they got in the same predicament that the Wildcats have been in, where they had the opportunity but just couldn't connect that last pass to even get a shot.
That ball will go off for another corner, so another dangerous situation here for the Wildcats as the Irish earn another corner.
For the Irish.
Just over 25 and a half minutes to go here in the second half. Irish and Wildcats, and in case you were wondering, Skip Newton, the overtime procedures are this. It'll be a 20-minute overtime with a golden goal, and if they're still tied after 20 minutes, they'll go from kicks to the mark. So ball comes in. Woodley finds it. Nicely done by Evan Woodley to claim that ball. There was a lot of traffic, and he got his hands to it and released it. I think the referee did call a foul.
Yes, he did.
The referee did call a foul, and again, there was a lot of traffic. I didn't see the foul, but the referee, again, just like with Lewis earlier, is going to do what he can to protect the keeper.
It was like a nice flick there by Johnson.
He's done that several times now in the game. It'd be nice if the Wildcats could get on the other end of that, as that ball's going to go into touch. But it is a 20-minute period, two 10-minute halves where the teams will switch ends. It is a golden goal. You will not play the full 20 minutes if someone scores. And at that point, after that, you will then go to kicks from the mark. Wildcats really spraying the ball around the pitch right now, Skip Newton. Not a lot of control of the ball. Nicely done by Nicholson to find a teammate. The ball gets switched all the way to the other side by Delgado. That ball comes up over the top. Played in by Redland. Redland puts that in the air. Wildcat Joseph gets dumped to the turf by Brown. Clear foul against the Rosemount Irish. Little surprised there wasn't a yellow card produced, given that it was a clear push in the back. No attempt to play the ball at all.
Well, at this point, I think I'm just surprised they made the foul call. So a yellow would be even to see what a player would have to do to get a yellow. That would be pretty aggressive.
Lennertz intercepts the ball, finds Siet, finds Villasenor. Nice passing combination. Villasenor tries to slide through to Siet, can't do it. Some nice link-up play between Lennertz and Siet. I'd like to see much more of that. Two senior captains for this Wildcat team. Johnson from his defensive midfield position. Now he's on a wander down the sideline. He's going to have the ball. Goes by the defender. Finds Siet in the middle. Siet's got it on his foot. Tries to chip it across for Hackenmuller. He does. Is Davis Hackenmuller going to be able to get to this ball? He does in the far corner. Prouty's in his way. Now Prouty gets out of the way. Now it falls for Prouty. Finds Villasenor. Villasenor puts a left foot to it. Nice block there by the Irish.
Irish do a good job of getting in front of shots. You know, there haven't been a ton of shots on goal by either team, but both teams in particular, the Irish as well. It seems like a lot of block shots.
Villasenor sends that across. It's going to find Lennartz. Lennartz is going to pretend to lay that off. Now he does for Joseph in the corner. Joseph flashing a bit of quickness. Now he's going to have to recover a little bit as Lennartz goes down. Nice tackle there on Lennartz, by Lennartz. Joseph's now he's going to have to hustle back. Ball gets deflected by Newton, breaks up the pass. Sondag loses possession but is watching Fika there. Joseph continues the run, comes back, and Redland puts that out into touch. Joseph, I think, between the sprints and getting trucked to the turf a couple of times, looks like he's feeling it a little bit from up here in the booth.
Well, most human beings would be laying down gasping for air. Jack Joseph feeling a little bit as he bends over, touches his knees for half a second, and then he's good to go. More energy than anyone on the team, I think.
Well, it's played away by Johnson. Hackenmuller with an arm there. Chips it over the top, looking for his teammate, see it. Comes in, and Lewis puts that well into touch. A little surprised there that Lewis didn't either allow that to come back to him or try to get his defenders to try to play it back to him.
Especially since when he first made the run out, see it held up a little bit, you know, knowing he was going to make the play. Oh, now we have a climbing of the back call. So it looks like things might be picking up, at least from the people in yellow.
Well, that foul was called. That foul was called over there by assistant referee Josh Edelstein. And so the center referee doesn't have to blow the whistle there, but obviously if the assistant referee is going to call a foul, center referee is going to pick him up and blow the whistle. But still have not seen the center referee make that call himself yet. Just over 20 minutes to go in regulation. Joseph steps to that nicely. And an absolute, I was going to say, I thought for a moment they were going to call a foul, and they did call a foul. That's a bit of a phantom call after the muggings we've seen, but it looked bad. The assistant referee probably could have helped the center referee there, but Joseph barely made contact with Brown.
Yeah, at least from our angle. I mean, they're coming right at us, but it certainly didn't look anything like some of the calls we've seen let go. Maybe the refs are just tightening things up. Not necessarily a bad idea.
No. Served in towards the penalty area. It's going to fall for Prouty. Prouty's going to send that forward for Seat. Seat's going to use his body to get in front of the defender. Nicely done by Derek Seat. Now he needs a little bit of help. He's going to get dispossessed, but the ball's going to go into touch for a Wildcat throw. Falls now for Prouty. Prouty far side. Oh, he's got Lennartz all by himself. Lennartz is going to get a left foot to that. Send it in towards goal. Lennartz again making the run. The ball's going to come out of play. And Ryan Lennartz with that left foot. How great would it be to see him score a goal here for the Wildcats? Johnson's attempted cross is blocked. Now it falls for Lennartz. Lennartz sends it in. Lewis smartly deals with it.
That's a really tough cross by Lennartz, even though he's, left foot is his stronger foot. To have to completely turn the body and not only get it in front of the goal, but get it enough in front so that Lewis can't do what he did and just come out and catch it, just a few yards off the goal line.
It's a turnover here by the Irish in the midfield. Finds Hackenmuller, is going to chip that up for Seat. Smartly corralled by Lewis. You get a sense that the Irish defense is definitely on top of Seat. They know he's a dangerous player. We've already seen him score once tonight.
Well, and these balls over the top that are anywhere near the penalty box, Lewis is all over them. And it's something where you need an adjustment by the Wildcats. They need to change their strategy. I think that the best way to go might be to aim down for the corners where Lewis can't go get it, at least without putting himself in a ridiculous position of being out of the goal. It's just, to be frank, it's not working, and it hasn't all game. So they need to change up the strategy a little bit.
Joseph on an overlap, nicely done by Jack Joseph. Finds Siet. Goes off of Siet's right foot, but it lands for Prouty. Nice jump by Hackenmuller, letting Prouty take that. Now it falls for Hackenmuller. Hackenmuller goes towards goal. Martin gobbles that up. Nicely done by Lewis. I keep saying Martin. For some reason it's Martin. Lewis. Martin and Lewis?
Martin
I don't know.
Lewis,
Maybe that's what
exactly
I'm thinking.
Where you were going.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Well, Eli, if you have a life like Jerry Lewis, you probably turned out okay. But here's Davis Hackenmuller on the far side, but nice job by Lewis on that last shot, not giving up a rebound.
Yeah, if he did, that's a goal.
That's a hard shot. Johnson finds Lennertz. Lennertz is going to put the Jets on. Go by the defender. He's going to slide it across. Oh, dangerous by Ryan Lennertz. Oh, the senior captain nearly broke the deadlock. Nicely done by Ryan Lennertz. Had a chance at the far corner. Sneaky good placement by Ryan Lennertz.
That's what you want to see. Leonard's open on the left side. Again, left foot is his dominant foot, so he can put that on with authority.
Siet lays it off for Villasenor, but Villasenor they didn't quite come off. But it was a great run by Villasenor from Siet. Johnson from distance. He's going to go to goal. Michael Johnson does have a cannon. He can go just about 6 feet high.
Really like the decision there by Johnson. He was open, nobody in his way. He's got the leg, like you indicated. Take the shot. I mean, it's a tie game. We got 15 and a half minutes left. You never know.
Ball's going to be over the top for Siet from Villasenor. Derek Siet's going to get in on it. Villasenor with an opportunity. It's blocked. Oh, nicely done by Lewis. I did it again. Eli Lewis recovers. The soccer gods smile on Eli Lewis as that ball manages to find his chest when he had no business keeping that ball out. His defense, to their credit, was on the line as Ryan Lennertz is going to slide into that and slide it over the top. But Lewis magnificently, luckily, got it back. Nicely done that time.
Yeah, it was a great play by Lewis, but stuck out, past the almost to the 18, laying on the ground, and the Wildcats fire a shot right into his chest. Looks like we've got an injured defensive player here for the Irish. They'll check on him. He's trying to stretch out, so it could be a cramp or something like that. For those of you down in the warm weather climates, we're sitting on a balmy 39 degrees here.
Reminder that the winner of tonight will go on to play in the section final next Tuesday. We don't know what time that will be played. It will almost certainly be a 5 o'clock start or a 7 o'clock start. And we don't know the location of that yet. We'll try to see if we can get it for you during the girls' game. Between the games, we'll check with the administration, see if we can find out where that neutral site will be played. Both the boys and girls finals will be played at the same site.
We do have a time. As I check the website, it does say 7:15 p.m. So at least we have a time. Still no location. Teams yet to be decided, of course.
And Nick Zwaber's going to take his time getting off. He's working on that quadricep. You see the Wildcats there going to have an opportunity here to put this into play. Excuse me. Martin will have a chance to put this into play. Lewis, I did it again. Now I'm jinxed.
You know what?
Lewis.
He's just Martin for the rest of the game.
You know
if Rosemount's listening, it's not disrespect. We're going with Martin.
I don't know what's come over me. Well, in any event, Lewis, the guy in pink, the goalie for the Irish, who's had a very solid game. He's going to put his foot. Now he'll get us started. Clock will start to run. Nicely done that time. And the ball's going to land. You get a sense certainly that this game could end up Skip Newton 2-1 the next goal might be the winner.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if more than one goal was scored. Both teams playing very well defensively. And we talk about the inabilities to generate, shooting opportunities, goal-scoring opportunities, the attack kind of breaking down. But at the same time, it's because Rosemount's playing good defense, and that's the same for the Wildcats as well. I mean, one defensive breakdown led to the goal. Otherwise, it's been slim pickings for both sides offensively, and that doesn't surprise us if you watch the last game where only 2 goals were scored.
Shots 15-4 right now in favor of the Wildcats on the big board. Player falls down on his own. Now Emilio Villasenor says, well, you managed to get up. Why don't you jump down again and check that out again? That was a very clear foul on the Wildcats.
Yeah, those close ones. Emilio tends to get a little handsy.
It didn't need to be done there. It really didn't need to be done, and now you serve up an opportunity for the Irish to attack from a distance. It's going to go for a goal kick, so no harm, no foul. But Villasenor, as a senior leader on the team, that's a foul he doesn't need to take. He's not going anywhere, with the ball. He's not going anywhere with the ball. He tells your entire defensive mid and defensive core to go through. You don't have to concede the foul there.
And both teams should be aware that the referee is changing his calls this game, although that one was obvious. I think that would have been called at any point. But any free kick could result in the game-winning goal.
Absolutely.
Any free kick. I mean, other than a kick where you have to boot it 80 yards down the field. But yeah, the players need to play with smart soccer IQ and understand that you need to be intelligent with your fouls and your physical play.
It's an opportunity for the Irish as Joseph recovers, dispossesses Anderson, and finds Siet. Joseph gets absolutely cleaned out. I'm unclear as to why the referee would have stopped play because Siet had the ball at his feet. Clear foul that time, obviously, as Joseph got absolutely run from behind. And you're absolutely right. The center referee, Josh Hartwell, was on the pitch as the center referee the last time that Rosemount, 3 years ago, when Rosemount beat the Eagan Wildcats in South Suburban Conference play on taking a quick foul call and shooting it into the net. So it can happen. It's played down into the Rosemount end. Finds Villasenor, fires it into a defender. Now finds Joseph. Joseph's going to square his hips. He slides that in. Leonards sends it hopefully towards net. Doesn't quite fall for him. Here's an opportunity for Martin. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's Axel Martin, number 21, and Eli Lewis. There is a Martin and Lewis on the team. That's why I'm getting confused. At least that's what I'm going with.
Yeah,
that's my story.
I like the Martin Lewis combo better, but I'm not going to let go of the fact that you remembered who the center ref was 3 years ago in a game.
Well, there was some controversy there because the center referee had called a foul, and we thought it was going to be a ceremonial restart. In fact, Rosemount smartly said it's not a ceremonial restart, and they fired it into goal from just outside the penalty area for a 1-0 win. And so a lot of controversy on the field at that time. But if it's a ceremonial start, no, the whistle's got to blow again. If it's not a ceremonial start, the team can take it as quick as they wish, even if the other team's not at 10 yards. In the event, Sondag is going to play that to safety. Gets the ball back. Just a lack of continuity and link-up play here for the Wildcats. Of course, as I say that, now they complete 4 passes in a row. Find Leonards, who has a nice left foot, swings over for Villasenor. Villasenor on the far side. Hackenmuller from the outside. He's going to get that on his left foot. Going to get in towards goal. And it finds Lewis. We are going to have a stoppage for some reason.
Is it an injury? I'm not following.
I think we have an injury, but I'm not sure why. Not sure why the. Now I'm utterly confused because if there's an injury, that makes sense. But then why are multiple Irish players coming onto the field? That doesn't make much sense.
in for the Irish. Number 7.
One player, you understand if there's an injury, one player can come on, but multiple players are coming on in any event. We're back underway with just over 10 minutes to go here at Wildcat Stadium. Joseph, who's been really working hard from that outside back position, playing some really great defense against some very good Irish forwards. This ball gets hoofed over all the way over and finds touch.
Clearly, the adjustment at halftime made by the Irish. I don't think they've been offside all half.
I only have them once as being offside,
okay,
by my count. But you're right. After being offside my count was correct, 6 times in the first half, they've been offside only once here in the second half. Ball comes over the top looking for Martin. Ball finds for Fika. Fika slides that in towards goal. It's going to go out for a goal kick.
Nice job by Sondag, cutting off a lot of the half of the net to shoot from, where if he had a shot it towards the middle, it would have been blocked. Really only gave him one choice to try and go near post, and that's really tough. Woodley had that angle cut off, so nice defense there by Sondag, who's been playing a really solid game, all game, and really a solid season all around.
Wildcats certainly not building from the back. They're having Evan Woodley put this ball as deep as he can.
You can feel the intensity increasing here, both in the stands and on the field. Everybody knows what's at stake. The likelihood that the next goal wins the game and advances to the section finals is growing with every passing minute. Opportunity here, get it down deep for the Wildcats, see if they can win this free kick.
Bit of a collision there, but actually came off the ball. Irish have certainly played well tonight, so have the Wildcats. Neither team perfect, certainly, but that's to be expected when you're playing a tight rival. We have an offside call there, very easy one.
Right on cue after I make a point. Thank you.
Well, and of course the Eagan was in possession of that, so as a result there was no offside, but now we have another foul near the midline. Be interesting to see if the center referee is willing to call a foul like that close down deep to give one team or the other a real good scoring chance. A lot of these fouls, Skip Newton, have been called towards in the middle third of the field. Johnson will stand over this and hoof it forward. It's going to land just inside the 18. Finds Seat on his chest. Now it lands for Joseph. Joseph has an opportunity. Oh, and he sprays it just wide. Lewis had the near post covered. But Jack Joseph had an opportunity there. If he could have gotten his left foot into that ball a little more and found the other side of the net, I think he would have had something going. As it is, we're just under 7 minutes away now from overtime. Like I said, both teams have played well tonight. See it going to try to see it with just a little too much contact to the back of the defender. Defender smartly doing a good job of drawing that contact.
Yeah, the goal there for Seat, you want to pressure the defender when he's facing the wrong direction. You don't want him to turn. You've got him in the box, pin him deep. Maybe you can get a turnover, but just a little too much contact, as you said. You'll notice that on these kicks, fewer times are the Irish choosing to play it out of the back, play it slow. They're going with the long ball much more out of the back as well.
Johnson looks for Hackenmuller on the far side, who flicks it on, but couldn't quite tell if he was hoping Seat was making a run or whether he was trying to flick it to himself past the defender. In any event, Newton does his best Superman impersonation and knocks that one down. Redland's also got a big foot. He's going to send that forward for Seat. Can't quite get that to die at his feet. And a foul on See It. After very few fouls, after 2 fouls in the first, 2 fouls in the first half. If my statistics are correct, I've got 14 fouls here in the second half.
It's been a completely different half from the perspective of the referee making calls, like totally different game.
Well, that being said, you can't say that the referee has. That being said, you can't. And here's another foul. But that being said, you can't say that the referee is necessarily that any of the fouls that he's called have really given either team much in the way of an advantage. I can't think of a single time when there's been a really good advantage for either team, except maybe on Davis Hackemuller's first free kick. That was in the attacking third. But beyond that, neither team has really enjoyed much of an opportunity other than corners on set-piece plays to create scoring.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. They're good calls. It's just funny to see how different it's been.
When it's played in towards Joseph, he battles Rimondo for it. Ball gets sent forward for See It.
Now there's one where if that had been called, that had been interesting.
Well, here's See It with an opportunity. He's going to get on, sends it towards goal. Leonard's just breaking his neck to get there, but couldn't quite get to the back post. Again, stick around with our ETV crew. Skip Moon and I will be bringing you the girls' semifinal of the Section 3AA playoffs between the Eagan Wildcats and the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars. Girls teams haven't really, I don't think they've arrived quite yet, but they'll be arriving soon to start their warm-up processes.
They may have to wait a little bit longer.
Leonard's with an opportunity, tries to cross it in with his left foot, smartly done. Wouldn't mind seeing Leonard's, there we go. Give that to Joseph and let Joseph take it. As Leonard's is a quality left foot, let's use that. Sends that over. Can't quite find Hackemuller. Boy, he didn't hit that very hard, but that wind really took it.
Yeah, I was going to say a little too much quality there.
Sondag can't quite find Hackemuller. Now it lands and falls for the Irish, who promptly give it right back to Jake Sondag. Pass to Johnson, doesn't quite connect, but Redland cleans that up. Lands for Prouty. Prouty hoofs that forward, but no one's making the run. At this point in the game, oh, it falls for See It. Now it's slid through, I think. No, we're not going to have an offside. It's a shot and a goal. It's 2-1. And Emilio Villasenor takes off his shirt. Ill-advised. Ill-advised. But nonetheless, a goal for the Wildcats with just less than 3 minutes to go.
Well, how many times have we seen this season Emilio Villasenor take a beautiful goal-scoring opportunity and not able to finish and picking the shirt up over his head in frustration? This time he hits maybe the biggest goal of the season, and he takes it all the way off, draws the booking for his trouble. Not exactly what you want, like you indicated, ill-advised. Coaching staff maybe giving him the line from Major League. Nice play. Don't ever do it again.
Well, you don't want to step on the passion. You don't want to step on the passion, and Villasenor has scored some big goals for these Wildcats, but he needs to be on the field right now for these Wildcats, right? He needs to be on the field, and I would hope that the referee, I would hope the coaches would get him back on the pitch as quickly as possible at the next dead ball as Miklo Jones takes the place of Villasenor. But Villasenor got a quick drink of water, and you would imagine he would be right back at the scorer's table to check back in. After all, with less than 3 minutes to go, he can't believe that he would pick up another yellow card, would you?
No, and so officially, what is the yellow card for? Is it for taking the shirt off, excessive celebration, or is it because he actually left the field to play?
It's for taking the shirt off. The minute he takes the shirt off, that's a yellow card.
Kind of feel like Brandy Chastain set the standard there years ago in the Women's World Cup. Oh, that's a great pass.
Falls for Hackemuller. Hackemuller sends it forward, sprays it. Should have found See It. The intensity is maximum now, as you can imagine. The Wildcats holding on. Irish pressing. That ball's going to come up over. That ball, I had to, God, that had to go into touch. But Joseph recovers it.
This is an opportune time for Rosemount. Wildcats really need to desperately avoid a foul down here.
Jones just has to watch him, keep the ball out there. Now it comes in on the far side. Redlin. Nicely done by Woodley. Woodley goes to ground. Smartly done by Evan Woodley, using an extra couple of seconds off the clock.
Shot for the Irish, number
He's coming to the near side. Going to use whatever wind he can to try to get this down the field. It's going to find Johnson. He's found Johnson so many times with punts and goal kicks today. Wildcats are ahead by a goal. All hands to the defensive pump now. Johnson's ball is going to go nowhere. It's going to deflect now, that time off the referee. And someone's got to play the ball back. The clock is running this entire time.
We can't play with two balls, guys.
You can't. The ball's in. Now we're playing. Ball gets sent forward.
Oh, no.
Here's an opportunity for the Irish, and they equalize. Oh, the Irish equalize with just a minute to go. I could not see who scored. We'll have to wait on the official score. We'll have to wait on the official, but we have a 2-2 draw right now with just over a minute to go. The ball was played in. It was a massive humanity moving towards Evan Woodley, and the defense just could not cope with it. Wildcats really spraying the ball all over the park right now.
The assist number 10, Andres Delgado.
Delgado with the assist.
78 minutes, 59 seconds. Less than a minute remaining, second half.
I could not pick up
Irish goal scored by Kim
Nicholson. Nicholson from Delgado.
Andres Delgado at 78:59.
Ball comes back for Redlin. Not sure. Not great communication there between the Wildcats. Here's Leonards. He's going to earn the corner. 15 seconds to go. Leonards already has a left foot. Is an in-swinger. Everybody should be forward for the Wildcats, and they are.
8, 7, 6,
Ball gets played across, and the Wildcats forfeit that opportunity.
2, 1.
And we are going to extra time. The Wildcats score with 3 minutes to go in the game, just under 3 minutes to go in the game to take a lead, and then concede with just over a minute to go for the Rosemount Irish. So we will have some extra soccer for you to watch here on ETV. Give a shout out to our crew, Director Nick Mudd, Joe Chupik, and Savina Cisneros, bringing you the sights and sounds here from Wildcat Stadium. And we're going to have some extra time between these two teams. There's going to be a 5-minute break. Skip Newton, how crushing is that for the Wildcats to concede with just over a minute to go?
That's a really bad goal to give up. I mean, just a breakdown defensively when you should have everybody back there playing the ball. I mean, that's the absolute worst thing you can do is leave somebody alone in front of the net, for a chance for a header. I mean, you have to be on that. I'm not sure how that happened. It's one of those things where I'm tempted to get my phone out and see if I can find it and watch the replay. But they need this break. I mean, the momentum now is in Rosemount's favor because they tied the game, so that the break can kind of settle things down. And they just need to be reminded of the simple fact that they score the next goal, the game's over. And that's all that they need to do, and they know they can. They've had just as many chances, if not more. But they need to pull it together here.
Well, we talk about soccer IQ, and we've talked about it all season with most of many of the games we've seen. And when teams show high soccer IQ, they do things that are smart. They do things that control the game. They do things that prevent the other team from doing what they want to do. I'm surprised in that situation the Wildcats did not do a better job of controlling and possessing the ball. doing a better job of making sure that they had possession of the ball rather than conceding possession to Rosemount. A couple of times in that last 2 minutes and 51 seconds before the goal was scored, there were some opportunities for the Wildcats to get on the other end of it, really hold on to that ball and just stand on it, and they didn't do it. And I'm a little confused. Well, not confused, but it's a bit disappointing if you're the Wildcats. On the other hand, the Irish elated that they were able to tie this game, and certainly the Irish have played well enough to get a result out of this game. So either team really, it's sitting right there for either team. Mentioning the senior academic all-section players for the Wildcats, it's Redlin, Cron, and Leonards. And for the Irish, Nicholson and Anderson.
So I'm using my phone here to watch the replay, trying to get to the spot where that goal is. Unfortunately, I don't have a easy way to fast forward, so I'm about 2 minutes left, right at the part where Woodley did that nice diving, play to try and clear it out. So wasting time here under 2 minutes. I think we've got about another 40 seconds before the goal scored. So I'll relay that to everybody as it happens. Excuse me, but yeah, just a disappointing way to not win this game. It doesn't mean the game's over, but they really need to step things up.
Wildcats and Irish doing a nice job here of trying to stay warm. There's an opportunity as we watch the replay from the replay truck. There's some opportunities here for the Wildcats to get on top of this ball and possess it rather than just blasting it out. It hit the center referee. And, of course, as soon as the center referee drops the ball, that's when the Irish are able to score. So I'm not sure if the Wildcats were caught napping with the dropped ball. Maybe they thought that the Irish would go short after the dropped ball or not, but instead it was played in and brilliantly done.
Yeah, they basically made it a free kick,
yep.
And they took advantage of that. It's an unfortunate turn of events there, and you watch the replay. It wasn't even headed in. I mean, it fell down to the player's foot, and he volleyed it in past. There was no defender right there. So just a really bizarre, unfortunate play for the Wildcats. But again, it is what it is. They just need to recover. They need to stay loose here. We're getting a little bit of drizzle here, some sort of precipitation.
I think that is drizzle in the form of small ice crystals that you're seeing there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen at home. The other thing to remember about a dropped ball, Skip Newton, is that you don't have to give somebody 10 yards. You only have to give somebody 2 yards. So the idea being, if that's a drop ball, somebody in a blue player, an Eagan player, should have been 6 feet away from that dropped ball when it was made. Now, does he prevent the ball from being served over the top? Maybe not. But might be harder, might be blocked, might change the angle.
Yeah, it was just a kind of a mental breakdown all around there.
Well, in any event, we are set for extra time here at Wildcat Stadium as we're done tap dancing, and you're going to see some action on the screen here as both teams have tried to stay loose during this 5 minutes. Coach Boutuli and the Wildcats have their work cut out for them, and the next goal will win this game. We will not play the entire overtime period. The next goal will win the game. The golden goal rule is in effect.
What do we got for a lineup here? It looks like
we've got Hackenmuller, Siet, and Leonards up front. Villasenor is back on the field along with Prouty and Johnson. And then the back line of Redlin, Jensen, Joseph, and Sondag. So we're going to have a result one way or the other here. Ball gets sent forward by the Irish. You get a sense that whoever quickly jumps on top of this, momentum-wise might really have an advantage here, Skip Newton. Prouty's intercepted. Nicely done that time by Johnson. Could have been a foul there, but center referee not having any of that. Lewis sprays that ball over to the side. I think we are going to have, we are going to have a foul here against the Wildcats back near the 10-yard line. And for some of these players, it's the last game, but not the last time these athletes will compete. The parents will think of late night practices, early morning practices, road trips on buses, equipment, soccer balls, forgotten water bottles, the stress of tryouts, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. Despite the result of this last game, no matter where or when it happens, parents look back at years of training, practice, and development. Know that even if the last game hurt the way it hurts today, they'll do it all over again for their child. What we hope is that these athletes, for either team, whoever loses tonight, is that they take from this all the great lessons they've learned. Thank you to both of these teams for giving us a great game tonight. And it's not over yet. Another foul here as the Irish are going to move this a little bit closer.
Free kick for the Irish.
Free kick comes in. We're going to have a foul against the Irish.
I was watching that. I'm not sure if the Irish pushed a Wildcat player into another Wildcat player. All I saw were two blue jerseys collide and go down. So unless we were pushed into each other, that's a bit of a break for Eagan.
Well, perhaps the referee operated as Jensen's free kick goes well down the field. That was 60 yards in the air. That was nicely done. There's a ball up over the top. Woodley comes out smartly and plays that up. Looks for Johnson, can't find him. Leonard's coming back for it. Joseph's going to lose his lobbying effort. Irish on top of this one. Comes in, finds Sondag, who chips it forward. Nicely done. A foul there on Villaseñor. And now you get a sense that maybe the referee's really tightening this game up. As we've seen now, that's I think the third or fourth foul here of the extra period. Now Siet taking a bump from the back. No call there. Johnson steps into this. He's got a cannon for a leg. Finds Villaseñor, who chips it over the top, looks for Siet. Villaseñor's ball lands on the wrong side. As Jensen and Redlin are going to give chase here. Fans from both sides pretty upset with what's going on in the field. There's a great chance interception. Played away by Jensen. It's going to go, check that, it's going to go out for a goal kick. Some really ragged play here in the first 4 or 5 minutes of this extra period.
I know, these kids are young and they're in great shape and they've played so much soccer, but the bench is really thin, at least on the Eagan side, and it's possible that you're getting a little bit of fatigue now, going past 80 minutes, and we're into the 85th minute, and there have not been a lot of substitutions in this game.
Prouty finds Hackenmuller. He's got some company there in the form of 2 Irish players. Now Hackenmuller's going to have an opportunity. It's going to get slid down into the end. Oh, nicely done that time by the Irish to keep that from being a throw or a corner. Ball gets played back. Cleaned up by Sondag, who then loses it. Back heel. Well, you get a C+ for that because the back heel was beautiful but didn't find anybody. Jensen's nice throw over the top, finds Villaseñor, gets it by 1 player, gets it by 2 players, has an opportunity here. Is he going to take it himself or is he going to find Siet? Instead he's going to be dispossessed. And play has really gotten crazy now as Evan Woodley just hoists that towards Leonard's. I'm not sure if either coaches would necessarily be happy with the standard of play right now, just because it's so disorganized. It's almost like street soccer.
Yeah, neither side is really taking any sort of chances by over-possessing, right? They're getting possession. If there's any sort of threat, they're just getting rid of it right away. I mean, here's like one of the first times we've seen Rosemount pull it back and try to reset. And a rare unforced error there. That's not characteristic of their back line.
Villasenor can't find See It. Leonards gives chase. Now Villasenor on the far side. Prouty steps into it. See It on the far side looking for Leonards. Now Prouty.
I'd love to see the Wildcats try to work this down to the corner and see if they can't get a shot, cross, or a corner kick out of this.
An opportunity for Joseph. Joseph fires that towards middle. It's cleaned up there by the Irish. Nicely done by the Irish. We're going to have a throw for the Wildcats. Virtually everybody in Wildcat Stadium on their feet. Rosemount fans, Eagan fans, everybody excited about the finish for this one. Finding Leonards on the far side. Leonards draws a foul. Too much contact apparently from behind. Again, in that far corner, forgive us folks, but in that far corner, it gets a little bit dark and a little bit far away from the commentator's box.
Unfortunate foul there. They have them pinned deep. You've got them all back. You've got your players set up to keep them there. Then they get bailed out with a free kick, able to kick it all the way down to midfield.
Ball coming over the top. Sondag's going to give chase. So is Rimondo. Sondag's going to fire that into touch. Safety first. Senior captain Nick Wenthy telling all of his Irish compatriots to get forward. He's going to launch this into the box. Just over 2.5 minutes to go here in this initial overtime period. Ball falls for Hackenmuller, who sends it well forward. Here's an opportunity. See It giving chase. He had multiple defenders to deal with. See It almost intercepts Lewis's clearance. But certainly for the Wildcats, if someone's going to do the business for them and get them into the winning column tonight, Derek See It would be a good candidate. This falls for Hackenmuller. Hackenmuller's got an opportunity. He's going to take a touch. What's he going to do? He's going to fire it negative for Villasenor, who didn't quite get the right route.
Yeah, it looked like a little miscommunication there, or a just technically mishit by Hackenmuller if that pass didn't go where he intended it to go. Chose not to take the shallow angle shot. Probably a wise decision, although at this point when any shot can be potentially the game-winning goal, I think you're not going to fault a kid even at a bad angle. Take that shot and see what happens. Maybe you get a rebound.
Wildcats slow to the ball right now. As Sondag does step up and pushes out to Prouty. Finds Hackenmuller, tries to flick it over everybody. He's dispossessed. Prouty's going to have to come back and try to play it. Sondag nicely done.
Just a great defensive play there by Sondag.
Not sure where Hackenmuller was going. To the middle, probably in your own penalty area, probably not real helpful. As Villasenor tries to find Prouty on the overlap.
Yeah, I think Hackenmuller knew it, but he didn't want to give up possession, so he was just trying to hold his ground.
Villasenor quickly trying to take the throw. I'm not sure what 24 seconds to go. Johnson flicks it towards the Rosemount goal. Not sure what that was going on there. And now we've got a foul against Prouty. A little discontinuity here for the boys in blue.
10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And the Irish going to be happy to just let this go into the second overtime period. They won't even take the free kick. The two teams will now switch ends, and we will play another 10-minute period. At the end of that period, if the game remains tied, we will go to kicks from the mark. Both teams certainly have played well enough to win this game, Skip Newton. It's anyone's game right now.
Yeah, it's been an outstanding soccer game. I mean, highly entertaining, lots of intensity. The crowd is building and getting excited. Of course, we're starting to get the the next game's crowd already here, anticipating that this one would already be over. So you've got the girls varsity fans showing up for Eagan, showing up for, I believe, Eastview. Is that correct? Eastview next.
It's Bloomington Jefferson.
Oh,
the Jaguars. Check it, Eastview. You're right. I'm sorry.
I was like,
no. I'm sorry. You're right. It's on the other side. The Eastview's playing the Jefferson Jaguars on the other side of the boys bracket. That's what I was confused about. I'm sorry. You're right, Skip Newton. The Eastview Lightning are showing up here for the girls' game. Derek See It sends that down deep into the Irish end. Melvin Kamara has checked back in.
We do have a final of that Eastview game in the boys' side. Eastview 4, Bloomington Jefferson 0. So Eastview has advanced to the section championship game next Tuesday.
Melvin Kamara taking the place of Ryan Leonards on the far side. Free kick here for the Irish. Melvin Kamara did not see any playing time in the second half, so he is going to be very fresh. Coach Boutali will be expecting him to be all over the field.
He's scored some big goals for this team, especially in the second half of the season. Let's see if he can pull another one out of his magic hat right now.
Hackenmiller's cross nearly found a set of blue boots. Irish forward on the far side. I'm not sure if he slowed up because it was going out of bounds or because he thought he might be offside, but Kamara battling there to try to keep that ball in. And does stay in. Now it gets played back to the middle. Oh. Joseph jumps that. Nicely done. Couldn't possess it, though. Armando comes away with it. Now it falls for Prouty. Sondag. Kamara.
So Boutali going to his bench, but correct me if I'm wrong, if this should end in a tie, the kicks from the mark have to be from players that are on the field.
That is correct. Hackenmuller turns it over on the far side. Definitely not what he was looking to do as Jensen steps up, chips that forward, finds Emilio Villasenor. Of course, if Emilio Villasenor were to score a goal, as nice as it might be to take your shirt off, Emilio, you better not do it again. That'd be a second yellow card to booking. He would be red carded, sent from the game, and not be able to play in the section final, so let's not do that. Jensen giving a little bit of space there to Martin. Someone needs to step in front of the far side. Shot goes into side netting. Deflected by Woodley. It's going to go for a corner for the Irish.
For the Irish, number 20, Ethan Brown.
Wildcat defense just not pressuring the player with the ball there.
Kick, Rosemount.
Irish take it short. And then the player dribbles all the way to the back line, and the ball goes up and over the crossbar. It's very curious, Skip Newton. How many times do you see a team take a corner short and then the player who takes the ball short dribbles to the end line anyway?
Yeah, right. The whole point of kicking it short is to try and change the angle, and then they ended up going right back to the same angle, but they ended up getting a fantastic goal-scoring opportunity out of that. Wildcats are a little fortunate that one went barely over the crossbar.
Woodley sends that forward towards midfield. Prouty battling with it there. Now he gets it back on his feet. Prouty finds Kamara. Check it, that's See It. Kamara on the far side. See It fires it well, just far too close to Eli Lewis. Lewis imploring his players to get forward.
Needed that one played out closer to the near touchline, away from Lewis and into the corner. That's where the Wildcats were setting up their runs.
Johnson dispossessed. And Johnson will be called for the foul as the advantage didn't develop. I have to say, as close as this game has been, Skip Newton, I'm not sure either team is necessarily holding on for kicks from the mark here. I don't think either team's necessarily playing poorly or worse than the other.
feels like the momentum is definitely in Rosemount's favor here. The ball's been down in the Eagan defensive third much more than the other side of the field.
That is true. Spill by Woodley, but nicely done to get it away. We have an offside call against the Irish. I'm a little curious as to why the Wildcats necessarily would.
Was not offside, was the call.
Wildcats are sending everybody forward for a free kick from Peyton Jensen, who does do a nice job of getting it towards midfield, flicked on by Johnson, but didn't have to be. Johnson and Prouty give away possession there. As Hackenmuller comes up with it, he's going to have an opportunity, and that's going to be a Eagan throw. Hackenmuller's going to try to take it quickly. Now he's going to give it to Joseph. That's probably the smart move. Get Hackenmuller back out onto the field.
Well, and let the play catch up, right? They were numbers down there, so get some Wildcats, down in the attacking third, give you more chances. And speaking of chances, a big one here.
Absolutely. Here's an opportunity for the Wildcats. Hackenmuller's going to put his right foot into this. It'll be an in-swinger. Can the Wildcats get on the back? There's wind behind him. He has to hit it a little softly. Comes in towards, couldn't tell if that was Jones or Redlin. Redlin. I see Redlin hobbled a little bit as he got up from the pitch. So that's a bit worrying if you're a Wildcat supporter.
Tough shot there from Redlin from distance. His momentum was going away from the goal, and he was far enough away. Oh, no.
There's a break for the Irish. Ball was thought to be going out of bounds, but it wasn't. Sondag gave up on it. The Irish did not, to their credit. Almost an absolute howler. Fortunately, the Wildcats bailed out for just a moment. Now it's still danger as the Wildcats have conceded possession.
Outstanding recovery on that play by Peyton Jensen.
Jensen imploring Woodley to come out and play that ball. He was definitely demonstrative. I think Joseph's down on the pitch. I think we're going to have a stoppage of the clock.
Clock is stopped by the center referee.
Jack Joseph, who's been the Energizer Bunny for these Wildcats, could not tell if it was his ankle or knee. Got dumped. But if Jack Joseph is injured, that's a blow for the Wildcats. Imagine Tarek Salim will be replacing him. In fact, we are going to have several substitutions here for the Wildcats. We've got Tarek Salim coming in. Tyler Walcott is going to be checking in. And I think I see on the far side, Ryan Leonard's checking back in. Yeah, Ryan Leonard is at the scorer's table.
The Wildcats back in the game. Ryan Leonard's number 9. Into the game, Tyler Walcott, number 24.
Tyler Walcott and Salim will check in. Walcott is going to play the far outside back position, taking the place of Sondag.
Wildcats got to be careful here. They need to make sure they have their top scorers as far as kicks from the mark. Oh, it's just a really unfortunate unforced error there.
Oh, incredible unforced error. I'm not sure what the Wildcats were thinking. Absolute lack of composure there.
But to finish my thought, they need to get their best PK shooters into the game. And they might not have a whole lot of opportunities to do that. You're at the whim of the ball going out of bounds and it being a substitution for your team.
Derek see it by one defender. Derek see it by two defenders. Nice tackle that time. But it falls for Villasenor, who finds Prouty. Prouty misfoots Johnson. Johnson back for Redlin's. Got to be careful there. Finds Salim. Salim fires that down the line. But Hackenmuller saying, I wanted it at my feet, Tarek. Yeah, I would imagine Leonard's would be a player you might want to get back on the pitch, a senior captain. As Prouty has an opportunity, tries to slide it in. Finds Villasenor, gets possession of it briefly. Redlin steps up, fires a bullet into Johnson's midsection. Wildcats right now really out of ideas offensively. They seem a bit frantic. I mean, Prouty just absolutely turns it over. Wildcats need to get their composure back. There's got to be some sort of activity, something that they can do to get on the same page again as that ball gets played well into the corner. Walcaut's down in the corner. Midfield late getting back. It's going to be a deep throw again for the Irish. How many times have the Wildcats in this second period just given the ball away? At this point, you're right, Skip Newton. Wildcats definitely are catching rather than delivering the blow. A football term there in terms of they're receiving punishment, but they're not dishing it out. Ball gets played into the center position. It's played out by Redland smartly. Villasenor hoofs that towards midfield. Siet only has 2 defenders in front of him. Derek Siet's got an opportunity here. The third defender comes over from the far side of the field. Ball gets played to the center of the field. So Walcott steps up now. We'll have a foul here against the Wildcats. So that might be it. Maybe one time for one more rush up the field for the Irish. Irish definitely would like to take advantage of this opportunity. Finds Prouty. Long shot. It's going to go into and out of play.
Wildcats are hurrying. They shouldn't.
No, absolutely not. This game will be going to kicks from the mark.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And we will see you in just a moment here. We're going to see kicks from the mark here for the Wildcats. It was a close game, Skip Newton. Both teams had played well enough to win, and now it's going to kicks from the mark. And this is what happened to the Wildcats 2 years ago. They lost to the Rosemount Irish in kicks to the mark, despite absolutely dominating the game. They just couldn't get on the scoreboard and lost in kicks from the mark.
Yeah, this game not one-sided in any way, shape, or form. Again, the unfortunate part is the Wildcats take the lead with less than 3 minutes to play, get it down to the final minute, and then give up the game-tying goal. And now it comes down to what many soccer fans dread. Kicks from the mark. They will take turns. Best of 5 shots. They have 5 shots for each team. Alternating shots as they go. So the order is significant here. You want to score early. You want to get that confidence and get that momentum. The first team to miss or not score is immediately behind the 8 ball.
Well, the Wildcats 2 years ago against the Irish here at Wildcat Stadium, Skip Newton lost that shootout. I believe it might have been 3-0. We had two misses in the first 3 shots. It was either 3-1 or 4-1 or something of that nature, but the Wildcats did not do well in that shootout. Wildcats have scored a number of penalties this season, have converted a number of penalties this season. We'll see which end the players want to shoot on.
So let's play a little game. We've got some time here with 3.5 minutes to go. Who are your top 5 from the guys that were on the field?
Well, I would think that the players on the field would be the only players available, although in fairness, there may be some others. I think Derek Siet is definitely going to be shooting. Davis Hackenmuller will definitely be shooting. I think Michael Johnson probably shoots for the Wildcats. I like seniors and juniors taking my penalty kick shootouts. If Leonard's was on, I would say Leonard's, but he wasn't on the field that I recall. So I think my other 2 would probably be Redland and probably
Villasenor?
maybe Villasenor. Yeah, I'd like to. If I'm going to lose, I want my juniors and seniors to. I want to give them the opportunity to win this. 2 years ago we saw some sophomores. We saw some sophomore players, some underclassmen players be asked to take penalty kicks in a situation just like this, and honestly, they struggled. They struggled mentally. They struggled. They did not look comfortable at all. And I think if you're going to give this opportunity to anybody, you give it to the seniors and juniors, the junior captain and your other seniors, and you try to do the best you can to put them in a position to be successful.
Of course, I'm not sure how the referee would know who was on the field, given that the players from both teams all came out to the middle of the field. I'm pretty sure in soccer games in the past that I've watched, that the players on the field at the end of the overtime had to stay on the field, and the bench players had to stay off.
Right.
So you could tell. So maybe we're making a rule up that doesn't apply to Minnesota State High School League section playoffs. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see who it is. Rosemount has clearly made their decision. Their 5 guys are lined up there around the 35-yard line of the football field. It looks like Eagan has made its choice as well.
Rosemount will shoot first. Evan Woodley will be defending the north goal. And we'll see for the Irish who will go first. It will be 5 shots unless mathematically the other team is winning. Each team will get 5 shots. Surprising that the coaches are all out on the field too. So we're having the Eagan players and the Rosemount players on opposite. Oh, that's strange. First shooting will be number 2, Nick Wenthy. Wenthy, number 2, will be shooting first for the Irish. I think once the referee has got their act together in terms of movement behind Woodley. And Wenthy scores.
No chance there for Woodley.
No, nicely done by Wenthy to put that in the just under the bar. Daniel Redlin will shoot now for the Wildcats. He's a senior captain. He spent a good bit of the year, probably first 60% of the year on the injured list. He has a wonderful opportunity here to level it for the Wildcats. Final instructions from the center referee as to what he's allowed to do. Of course, Lewis has also been cautioned to keep his heels on the line. And it's saved by Lewis.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it wide enough there.
Lewis guessed right. Redlin didn't hit it as cleanly as he would have wanted. I would have expected Redlin to absolutely hit that with a cannon. Didn't hit it cleanly. But credit to Lewis, he guessed on the right side, as Brown will now shoot for the Rosemount Irish. Evan Woodley, the junior keeper, stares down Brown. And Brown sends Woodley the wrong way, and he scores. Davis Hackenmuller now will now shoot for the Wildcats.
Mathematically, this isn't true, but I'm going to say it. He has to hit this goal. If he doesn't put this in, it's all but over.
Hackenmuller definitely needs to score this penalty. And he misses. It's kept out. Hackenmuller tried a little bit of trickeration. Tried to just send it gently into the corner.
Great play by the goalkeeper. Again, guessing right. I mean, he put it far enough over to the corner, but not quite enough on it.
Not enough on it.
But another great save, and that's a really tough ask here for the Wildcats to come back from down 2-0.
Eklund puts it in the net.
And now it is a must make. This ball doesn't go in, it is over.
Derek Seat, the senior captain, who has given us so much for this year, so much enjoyment, so much entertainment. He's going to stand over the ball here at the penalty area, at the penalty spot, and he's going to do what he can to keep the Wildcats in this game. Derek Seat must score here, or it is over. See it, puts it in the corner.
See it fighting the emotions here, sensing the ending, the body language for the Wildcats. is not good.
Fourth penalty kick shooter for
Well, the Wildcats need 2 saves here from Woodley or 2 misses by the Irish. Connor Watt stands over it for the Irish. Evan Woodley needs to get in front of this ball. And it's off the crossbar.
That's a break.
Big break for the Wildcats.
They needed that.
Here's Ryan Leonards.
for the Eagan Wildcats.
Ryan Leonards has an opportunity here for the Wildcats. He has to make this. He has to make it, or the Irish will win. Leonards slides it in the corner. Nicely done.
Ryan Leonard scoring on the fourth penalty kick for the Eagan Wildcats. Rosemount leads the shootout 3-2.
And now it will be Delgado. Delgado, if he scores here, he puts the Irish into the section finals.
Number 10.
If he misses, the Wildcats will have one more chance to tie it. Delgado stands over this ball. Let's see what kind of approach he delivers. It's in the net. It's in the net, and the Rosemount Irish win the shootout 4-2. The Rosemount Irish win the game 3-2. Well, or 4-2, depending on how you count that score. It should be 3-2, actually. But in any event, the Rosemount Irish have defeated the Eagan Wildcats, and the Eagan Wildcats, for the second year in a row, are bounced in the section semifinals by a score of 3-2.
Yeah, a really bad way to end a season. Not that there's a good way to do it, but to have the game in hand with less than 2 minutes to play and to give up the game-tying goal and then to lose on kicks from the mark is disappointing, to say the least. It's just a painful way to lose a soccer game. All around a great season for the Wildcats, but they just couldn't bring it together in the final game here, and it didn't go the way they wanted. But a good season all around. It's just not something they're going to be thinking about as they walk off the field tonight.
It's going to hurt for some time as these boys and their opportunities, especially for those seniors. This is not the way that they wanted to finish this. They thought that maybe if they get a win tonight, they'd have one more game, but the soccer gods are sometimes not always forgiving, and the Wildcats fall here to the Irish final score of 3-2, despite the fact that it says 4-2 on the scoreboard. It should be 3-2. So in any event, the Wildcats end their season. The Rosemount Irish will next Tuesday play Eastview for the section finals here in 3-3-8. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because in about 20 minutes we will have girls high school section semifinal action here on ETV. So for Skip Newton, I'm Nathan Cron with our award-winning ETV crew. Thanks so much for joining us here. The Rosemount Irish defeat the Eagan Wildcats here at Wildcat Stadium 3-2. Ending the season for the Wildcats. The Rosemount Irish will, as I said, continue next week. So long, everybody.